And we are back from our break. And while the other players are still considering potential plans, whether they want to actually do this now or come back for it, Leva has decided to head off and talk to Margoth. Now, Leva, were you casting another polymorph self?
Yes,
Okay.
otherwise she wouldn't get there.
Okay. All right. So you make your way to Margoth's apothecary and enter in, and another hooded figure, kind of hunched over, greets you and says, "And how may I help you today?"
Is that Margoth?
That is not Margoth.
Hmm. Could I please talk to Margoth?
Yes, hold on, I'll fetch her. And
Thank you.
the figure hobbles off in the back. Not like the movement is definitely different from the other ones that you've seen, indicating that it is uh, a different individual in the ones you've dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
And Margoth comes out and says, "Oh, I was expecting to come to you shortly. Has your
Um,
has your group decided?"
well, I'm coming aside from the group. The group is in the process of deciding something else at the moment, but what you said uh, got my interest about how you help the people and would she really say free? Yeah, well, how you help the people.
Liberate.
She doesn't really know whether she can speak perfectly freely here,
Okay.
so she will say help.
All right. Margoth gives you a smile through her bandages and says, "You can speak around these. They are all acolytes."
Mm, thank you. That's a relief. Um, then she says, "Well, having a history of having been a slave myself, I was wondering whether you'd need more help of a fairly good mage and who could do a lot of things to help you along with freeing or liberating, helping other people."
She kind of frowns at you thoughtfully for a moment and says, "I think I get what you're asking, but there is a slight problem. You have
Mm-hmm.
to understand that it's not just my goal to bring freedom from those enslaved, but to also bring my people out from the darkness that they are under. But that can't be
Explain.
done. That she hasn't finished talking, so you'd
Okay.
be interrupting her. But that can't be done if the enemies of my people are the ones bearing that message."
Leva looks puzzled. What do you mean, the enemies of your people?
You are an elf. I know you do not wear that shape right now, but you are an elf.
Mm-hmm.
And your people and my people do not have a good history. It is my dream one day that that will be put behind us, but that day is not today.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to aid me on a consistent basis, it would undermine everything that I work for. Those
Hmm.
who might otherwise listen to me would not listen to me.
Leva looks very thoughtful and says, yes, I sort of understand. Ah, what a pity. Would you be totally averse against getting help from me?
Oh no, in terms of short-term help, that is not an issue at all. It is more long-term help. As I got that impression of what you were asking.
Well, you have to see it. I have two goals. One is to help other people free slaves or people who are very unhappy in their position in which they got without their own fault. The other one, however, is to follow up and find my own history. You see, I have no history. Well, I have one as a slave, but I'd like to know more than that. I'd like to know where I come from and what happened that I ended up in this position. So my help would not be permanent in any case.
Yes, but your non-permanent help from your race can last 2 or 3 lifetimes of mine.
Ah,
So
yes,
there's not
okay.
much difference in that regard.
I see. Yes, I didn't think of that. I apologize.
Oh, it's perfectly understandable.
So let me ask you, if we are talking short term, what type of help would you want? Would you like to have from us, from me?
Well, I hadn't given any particular thought to you individually, but your group had proposed helping my friends, and that
Mm-hmm.
is exactly what I was thinking of. You're not here with a message from the whole group, though, correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Well, I do not mind telling you that my friends do have a problem, and I do know that uh, the others that I mentioned, the Pecks, they also have a problem. Uh, both of them are looking for help, and both of them are friends, you could say. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and well, I think that your goals may align at least with the help that my friends are interested in.
Okay. Uh, do you have a name, somebody I could talk to?
I will have a name,
But not yet.
not yet.
All right. Then I propose I go back to the ship, to the group, and we talk again when you are there. And yes, when you're there. How about that?
That sounds good.
All right. Thank you for your patience. And we'll see each other again. So Leva turns around and walks off,
All right.
goes back.
Yeah. To kind of make it clear, you definitely would have understood that uh, she has, her friends, the mongrelmen included, and those who think like her, who are, you'd probably reasonably guess, other goblins and that sort.
Mm-hmm.
They want to change the goblins and the hobgoblins and the other races and make them not evil. Essentially, is what it boils down to. But if that message is coming from an elf,
It won't work.
yeah,
Yeah, Leva understands that.
okay,
So she sighs deeply and goes, ah, poof. But she does go back to the ship,
okay.
and she hopes she can talk to the others if their goals more align with hers.
I think they're probably still discussing the uh,
Oh, no,
potential.
no, no. I didn't mean the people in the ship. I meant if when Margot comes
Oh,
along and
gotcha.
she was
Okay.
talking about the
All
Pegs
right.
and the Mongol man, that maybe their goals would allow them to accept
Okay.
Leva's help a bit better, bit more.
Okay.
as far as the people in the ship, well, she goes and listens in on what they're saying, what they're talking about.
Okay, so back to the discussion. Has the rest of the party come to a decision as to whether you want to try to do this now or come back later?
Well,
Don't know if we're coming back later. That's the problem. We never figured out how long a journey it is to wherever we're going. I don't think.
Well, we're taking Margoth, so I would have thought we'd bring Margoth back. I know Ord said in our ear as the GM, we could say we're going to take you on a one-way trip.
Does she indicate that she wanted to come? Should
she
I
didn't.
rephrase it?
She didn't indicate one way or the other, but there was an indication that there was another port that might be involved. Plus, there's the Pecks; they have their own kingdom.
Well, how long will
She has
Braxon...
a shop here, so she has to come back.
Yeah. How long will Braxon need to talk to someone to learn Goblin?
It's multiple weeks.
A journey.
Like I mean.
Well, what I'm saying is, if we go on a small trip, I don't know whether that's going to be enough for him to learn the language, or he might need to hire on someone.
I mean, it's multiple weeks, so I can't give you a solid answer. I will let you know if a journey would be long enough. We'll put it that way.
Okay. I can't remember. Is it like a variable thing based on rolls and stuff?
No, it's not really detailed.
Oh, right. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
It's up to how the GM is building their campaign when it comes to proficiencies like that.
I see. It depends on how clever Braxon is, which means he's got no chance.
Or how dedicated you are to learning it.
Yeah.
As an interesting side note about learning languages, how long it takes. Basically, if you have best possible teachers and such, and can study for 10 hours a day, it takes around 48 and plus days.
Right.
That's basically for diplomats.
Well, I don't like. I'm not going to get into the real world elements of it because this is a game,
but this was just a ballpark.
Yeah, I mean, I would say normally it would be months, but at the same time, it's a game, so if one of you as a players, like Leva did, had made a point of saying a couple times that she was trying to learn the language, then there just comes a point where I'm like, yeah, okay, now you know it.
Well, there was that goblin guy that was going to get executed who could have... he could have... if we'd have rescued him.
Yeah, and he also could have tried to rob you blind.
He could have tried to rob us blind. That's true.
Considering he was executed because he was a thief.
That's true. Okay.
All right, so you're expecting Margoth to arrive in a few hours. Do you want to either discuss it with her or dance around the issue to try to get some answers out of her without making it clear what you intend, kind of thing? Like, is that something that you would want to do to try to make a decision on this?
No, an itinerary, so we're figuring out whether or not we need to come back. We're trying to schedule things together.
I think the main thing we want to learn is, if we're taking her and she's not coming back, we've got to really compensate her for not bringing her back. If we're taking her and we're coming back, then we could come back secretly. Braxon wants to use his navigation skills quickly. That helm can apparently make a ship stay invisible for an hour, yeah?
Half an hour.
Half an hour. Right, that gives you quarter of an hour to fly in and quarter of an hour to fly out. And that will be no time to do anything. So, could we go 10 minutes away and have a ship go invisible there and not be noticed?
Possibly.
Right, that's what Braxon wants to try and work out.
Also,
Have
they're already
we-
in the ship. In the
Have
port.
we? This thing we're on, is it? It's like an asteroid between two stalagmites, isn't it?
No. That was the previous one. This one is just an asteroid, although there is a stalagmite nearby.
Right.
It clearly has
do we
some
know-
mines and stuff like that.
Do we know if there's anything on the underside?
Yeah. So this asteroid is about a mile in size. The underside has a lot of farming and stuff like that.
Right.
Mushroom farming and growth herds and stuff.
Right. So the farming activity would be less people.
This is also a chance our prisoners might try and stage an escape once they learn that we're mounting a How are our prisoners doing?
Not well. Last time you checked.
Wow.
Well,
They're still alive.
Yeah, they're still alive. I mean, you'd know if they were not. Sard is definitely not. I mean, Sard is okay. Because so
Not
far
mentally,
he hasn't
though.
been affected by any of the magic that you've done recently.
He's not been affected by chaotic sleep. I've
Nope.
not learned this yet.
Nope.
What about the others?
I mean, you would know by now that he was not, because he's not like haggard from lack of sleep kind of thing.
Are you torturing our prisoners with your magic?
Njord was affected by chaotic sleep, so he is a bit haggard. At the same time, the fact that he's a prisoner, meaning that he
Not
doesn't
really.
actually have to do anything, it's just more that his sleep is chaotic. You know, it's like he's a bit haggard, but he's not as badly affected as if he actually had to do things for part of the day.
What about Sifia? 'Cause Sifia was affected by hunger, wasn't she?
Silithia is definitely doing badly.
Lack of sleep and lack of food.
You're not like she does not speak at all, and she kind of like stays curled up on the little bunk that's in there for her, and like she you know, I mean, she moves, so there's an acknowledgement of life, but she's not doing it. You know, like she's not responding to coming in, coming in to talk to her or anything like that.
By the way, has this come into the ears of Solas?
I don't know. It's up to you whether you check on the prisoners.
Well, he isn't actively checking them.
Then probably not.
Lafdul's checking them, so to speak, 'cause he's obviously casting memory reads. So.
I mean, Ockar would be checking on them fairly often. I figured he would learn about this.
I would have indicated to Finn that obviously whatever spell you're doing in combination with mine might be a bit too much for her, especially after the spell backfire from Leva.
Yeah. Finn will slip a little bit of honey into her meal to end the spell.
Okay.
Lack of sleep's one thing to keep them weakened, but if they're literally not eating, then they're only going to get worse. I mean, yeah,
She's
she
eating, she just never feels full.
Yeah, but doesn't it make you effectively starve? At least the effects of starvation.
I think the debuffs are more from the psychological end of it.
Oh.
Can we not torture people?
She wanted to eat Finn. Finn felt perfectly justified in that, and I use chaotic sleep so they'd be easier to get information out of.
Can we stop torturing people?
Yeah, Solas is also opposed.
Solas isn't aware of that, though.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just can't.
Yeah,
I'm
but I
having a
check
conversation
on the
with
prisoners
Finn.
fairly often, and if I'm noticing
on.
this, I'm like,
Hang
can
on.
we stop doing this stuff to them?
Can I just clarify? Is this a discussion in character?
I'm just
Or
having a
not.
discussion with
It would
Finn.
probably be a discussion I'd have with them in character once I figure this out.
but not necessarily with the rest of the party. If
Right,
you
it would
haven't
just be with
said,
those two.
yeah, they're the ones who were casting the spells. So
Yeah.
I don't
I
think
imagine I would eventually confront the two and say, "Can you stop?"
I think you probably need some sort of roll to notice. I don't think Braxon's actually gone to visit any of the prisoners. I don't think Braxton would be too happy with it either.
Oh,
but
yeah, no,
what
I
kind
mean,
of thing would I have
if
to do to notice this?
if you guys haven't, like, Ockar has said that he's checking.
Okay, cool. I'll stay out of it then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Solas was involved in that accidental polymorph spell.
But you just said that you weren't checking on the prisoners. So,
Yeah,
yeah, but you just
I
said that you
didn't
weren't
remember
checking on the
that.
prisoners.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
happened. That happened like over a week ago, though.
But I've said that I'm actively checking on them every so often.
If that had been a week, then the spell's run its course. Doesn't it only last a week, Finn?
Yep.
So it doesn't matter if you'd end a spell; it would have ended, being ended.
Well, give or take. But yeah, it is going to be ending within a few days.
But yeah, would I actually have to roll anything, or would me just checking on them every so often clue me in that there's something wrong with them?
Just checking on them would have clued you in, and you could convert. You confronted them like you just did.
Yeah.
It was mainly with Sifia more than Red Newell, because Red Newell just looks tired, if nothing else.
I'd still tell you guys to stop messing with them like that.
In
Very
what
well.
way?
Not using magic to mentally or physically torture them. And no using like poisons to do it either,
I mean,
or drugs.
would you rather they killed our crew?
I'm fine with them being put
I'm not.
into a state of sleep, but I don't want you like
If they're
torturing them.
why is
That's what
it?
you've been doing.
I've disrupted their ability to sleep. I will just say that. They're still sleeping. They're just not going to be able to put up a good fight or memorize magic should they regain their ability to get a hold of magic again, because their sleep is interrupted. You know I cannot get my spells back if I do not get good rest. I have simply stopped that, or at least made it more difficult for them to do so should they escape.
I'm basically mentally and physically torturing them with your abilities. Do you not see the problem here?
I see your point and I see my point. Ultimately, if Braxon says stop it, then I'll stop. Simple as. Bring it to Braxon. Because he's the captain at the AD.
Fine, then I'll bring it up to Braxon.
I'm not trying to shirk your authority, you being the first officer, but obviously he runs things. If he says no, stop it, then I will acquiesce to his request.
In that case, I do bring it up to Braxon.
All right, Braxon.
So what's going on? Obviously, you're going to say a summary of what's going on.
Yeah, I tell him that I've discovered that Lafdul and Finnel'ar using their magic and other like skills to physically and mentally torture our prisoners.
Let's say tortures.
But are you saying this with them all there, or?
Yeah, well, at least me, Ockar, and you were there. I don't know about the rest.
Okay.
Finn, you might have brought Finn in too.
Yeah, Finn, sorry.
Finnel in as well.
Yeah.
My concern was...
Braxon says, well, like, if they posed a threat to us and we had to execute them, I'd be happier with that than torturing them and prolonging it.
Well, at the end of the day, they're not going to be able to put up... Well, not necessarily put up. They're less capable of doing any harm to us. And ultimately, they are evil people. And I'm just simply preventing them from doing any harm to us.
Okay.
or at least weakening their ability to do so. I mean,
So, what does this do to them?
you know, I can't get magic if I don't get good rest. Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
So effectively, I've done that to Cynthia. She cannot get good sleep. So if she were to get hold of a spellbook, even if she had the spellbook, there's a good chance she would not be able to get her spells, at least some of the time.
Right.
It might take her several days to get spells.
Does it hurt?
Well, it
He's
seems to
just
have her in a
sleep
constant.
deprived.
Isn't it the thing that makes her seem to be in a constant state of hunger as well?
No, that's something Finn did.
Yeah.
The only thing I've done is made them have a iffy sleep schedule.
And Finn can tell you that that should be wearing off soon, and he can also end it.
Yes, end it.
I'll toss you a vial of bee honey, or a flask of bee honey then. Thing.
Okay, then
Go
I
ahead.
guess I'll.
Just add it with her food or something.
Yeah,
Maybe now she
I'll
won't
do
have
that.
thoughts about eating me while I'm a cat.
That doesn't give you an excuse.
Doesn't
Self-preservation.
give her one either.
Well, yeah.
You mean, you know Red Nord wants to gut you in your sleep. If he given an opportunity, he will do so.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I'm going to plague his dreams with nightmares and make him feel like he's starving to death.
Don't plague his dream and nightmares. He simply just doesn't gain restful sleep. He's still sleeping. He's not in a strenuous situation where it will actually have detrimental effects. It's for when they escape, if they do.
Well, I'd rather just kill them than do anything that hurts them.
I'd rather
If
we
we're-
keep giving them that tea that makes them pass out for a while, if anything else.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure there's long-term effects from that. Keep feeding someone that all the time,
if
but
that's
hey,
possible, if that's
well,
possible.
Solas has got his alternate spell that I'm sure he's going to be working on at some point, but it's going to
So hang
interrupt his ability to make his book, though, no doubt.
Hang on, that Linnaeus that was with us, he can't cast any spells because he hasn't got his book. Do we know what sort of spellcasters Red Newell trends are?
A wizard and a priest. The
Right,
dwarf's a
so-
priest.
The dwarf's a priest and therefore can probably pray to their god.
If
They
he
need their
has
holy
a-
symbol with them.
Yeah.
The wizard, can we confirm that the wizard's lost their spells?
One would assume so, because they would have escaped by now if they had such spells.
Could we take the wizard and when we're in Wildspace, could we force that wizard onto the helm?
No.
No?
No.
Doesn't work that way.
No.
No.
Not like we have one of those
Yep.
life training helms.
You have
Which
to willingly.
What about domination or mental domination? I'm just curious if that would. Would it be your will? Because your will's subservient.
I mean,
to their will.
I'm making a ruling here as opposed to going by the rules, just because there are other helms for forcing someone in against their will. That's called a life jammer or a death helm.
Yeah. I wasn't thinking about that. I was just
the
thinking.
care of infinite comfort.
I was basically thinking you put a spellcaster on helm and it sucks the spells out of them. But if it doesn't work that way, that's fine.
Yeah, I think to prevent it from involuntarily taking spells away and being used as a weapon, I think that you have to, because they're going to be struggling against it the entire time, kind of thing. So I think that would prevent them from getting a connection. And you can't just put a sleeping person into the helm, kind of thing. You have to be conscious. As well.
Okay. No, that's fine. I'm just asking. And I'm assuming that one of the others would have answered Braxon.
Yeah.
Okay, so the dwarf. Is there anything else we can stop the dwarf doing? The dwarf has to pray. Do we know what the dwarf has to do to pray to his deity?
Well, usually that would require having either a shrine or a holy symbol to focus the prayers through to get their spells.
Yeah. So if we deny all of that, we're reducing the risk of them learning new spells.
His holy
They
symbol
might still.
has been taken.
Yeah.
Also, all of their spell components have been taken,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
mean,
they are bound and gagged behind bars in a brig under constant surveillance.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'd be keeping them gagged after a couple of weeks.
You can't keep them gagged permanently, like long term. It's just not.
Well, at least they are bound.
Well,
Yeah.
no, they're locked up.
After a while, when they start behaving, then we just leave them in the cell.
Yeah, I mean, once they're in a cell, like,
We've gone
yeah,
out of our way
if
to
they
reinforce it,
have
so-
any spells that do not require spell components, they can cast them. But at the same time, it's also reasonable to conclude that if they had any of those that would have been useful, they would cast them. If a situation arises in which suddenly something that wasn't useful before will then be useful, maybe you need to worry. But at the same time, like, you literally cannot account for every single possibility that exists in the wide universe.
Also, just because they are named NPCs, we do not need to think that they are all capable of escaping.
I mean, the fact that they haven't escaped yet indicates that they are not capable of escaping in a way that they feel confident in doing so. Like, that alone is a reason to believe that what you have going on right now is good enough in the current situation. If the situation changes, like if you're actually attacked by a ship and they get people inside your ship, things may change because that's a situation that you haven't encountered yet. But that's also, there's an element of we'll deal with it when it arises.
Yeah, if we get boarded by someone, they might think of them as potential allies. Okay, well, Braxon will say, well, these people are going off to trial. We're not trying and executing them here. So they have the full right to say, this is what happened to me while I was being held prisoner. So if we need to do things to stop them casting spells, then fair enough. But if we're doing things that are making them feel uncomfortable, I'm not sure we should be doing that.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you will have your own deities to answer for things like that. They might want you to atone or whatever. And then Braxton will turn to Ockar and say, if they escape and pose a threat to us all, I won't have much concerns with killing them.
If they escape and try to kill people on the ship, then we can take them out.
Yeah. But while they're being held prisoner, we should treat them with some dignity.
Yeah.
So you want me to remove the curses on them? I won't be able to do this today. It'll be after in a couple of days.
Curses? Oh, it's a curse.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it not something that wears out by itself?
No. They both have the means to dispel it themselves should they get access to their spells.
Right.
Well, I think it's probably best if you disable it now.
Well.
Or when you can.
Yeah, when I'm able to. I'll be able to do it in a couple of days.
He said he can't disable it now.
But like I said, when he can.
Yeah. Maybe when we've left this place.
Mm-hmm.
Because there'll be less of a risk to us when we're in open wild space.
Okay.
Perhaps if we need to keep them quiet, we could temporarily do things like this when we're visiting ports, rather than permanently do things to them. But it still doesn't leave a good taste in my mouth.
Oh, that's fine. I can get rid of it. I don't mind.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you say a couple days, you mean actually
Not
more
today.
than right? I understand that. Tomorrow, can you do both of them?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
third level for me for cast for
Okay.
a priest.
Just wanted to make sure. All right, so tomorrow you'll take care of that. Okay.
Yeah.
I was saying tomorrow you might want to be stealing flags.
Well, I think in theory we're supposed to be leaving today.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly the longer you're in port, the more you get charged for docking fees.
Yeah, there is that. Well, if
Oh.
Margot's coming, we could leave, and then we don't get charged anymore.
Well, if Margot's here, we can figure out what the itinerary is.
Okay. So Margoth will be arriving shortly. Do you want to just advance to that?
Not unless you go ahead to visit her, then we at least have like an hour ahead of time to discuss things in private.
Leva already visited her, and she's returned. I think most of you
Oh.
probably wouldn't even realize that she left.
No, I don't think we would have. I think we would have had a big, massive, epic discussion about
Pros and cons.
how to steal these flags without it causing problems.
Yeah.
And then I think we'd have probably had a massive discussion about the treatment of the prisoners.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think Braxon will be thinking, I wish Higamus hadn't have left.
All right. So Margoth arrives maybe an hour after that those discussions wrap up, and she actually has a pack with her.
She bought her shop with her.
Not a pack of wolves.
No, but an actual equipment, changes of clothing, and she it asks to speak with the officers back down in Braxon's quarters.
Yeah, Braxon would have left word to be called as soon as she turned up. I think he would have been planning to be there to greet her, but given all that's going on, he's probably going to be a bit late and then run out to meet her.
She will smile at your arrival and say, "Well, have you discussed amongst yourselves?"
Yes. Permission to come aboard and all that stuff. Thank you for agreeing to help us.
Ah, no, it will be of a greater benefit to me than it will be to you, I assure you.
Do come inside.
Thank you.
Could we give her the same cabin that we gave the last visitor to?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. She will say, well, she'll want to speak to you to give you information.
Yeah.
First.
Okay.
And she says, you will be meeting with a ship from my friends. They are nervous about letting you visit the port just yet. It is a secret port, you understand. They want to make sure
Yes.
that you aren't followed, that you can be trusted. Is that acceptable?
That's very acceptable. Having seen spellcasters with magic, I can see that there's two things people will be concerned about. One is the trustworthiness of people themselves, whether they would give away secrets, and the second is whether spellcasters could steal away those secrets. So I fully understand that sort of thing. Obviously, I think we're trustworthy, but I have to earn their trust.
Indeed. Well, I will be accompanying you, and if you don't mind, I would be happy to accompany you for as long as you wish me to in the sphere.
Really? That would be excellent. I've been thinking of trying to use this ring to learn a local language. Is that something you'd be able to assist me with?
I suppose so. If you wished to learn a language that I know, I could try to teach it to you. I do not know how long I will be staying, but if there is time, I'd be happy to help you out in that way, as a bit of a repayment for your services, in addition to everything else.
Braxon says, a repayment? I thought you were doing us a favour.
Well, mutual favors, shall we say?
Okay.
As I said, I'm pretty sure that my friends will benefit more than you do.
Yeah. Shall we go visit the rest of the officers?
Oh, I figured that
Brax-
this was already...
Okay.
Withdraw.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Fair enough. Okay, well, Braxton to say, how ready are we to go?
So to speak, we are ready, but
You could indicate that you want to have a few hours. I mean, like, it would take some time to get the ship ready to leave anyway.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to either ask her questions or try to elicit information without her realizing what information you got,
she's
this
staying
would be a good
with us,
time.
supposedly. So
essentially, like, you're gonna do a service, and she's willing to stay with you for that service, kind of thing, is what you would pick up.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you're just gonna go take her someplace else. You get this quest, and you're off, and you're leaving her. She's willing to accompany you if that's okay with you.
Yeah. Do you know the general layout of this place, Margoth?
I've been around. I can help you get to some places at least.
Right. And we can take on another guide if we need to.
Indeed. I would hope that would not be necessary, but it might be.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how... Sorry, go on.
Are there any exits to the phlogiston here? Nearby? Any whatsoever?
You're not very close to the sphere wall, so... like,
we're not in the middle or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, but you're definitely not close to a sphere wall right now.
We got told that one of those branches off to the north was that general direction.
I'm just wondering if this is like a central hub, so we would return this way or pass by this way.
Well, the Goblin Port, the Hobgoblin Port, and the Kobold Ports are all functionally central hubs. Just, more than one.
That other thing that I mentioned to you, Braxton, can wait if we're likely to come near this area again, which I suspect we will.
I would think we would be bringing back Margoth.
Are you saying that with Margoth there?
You don't want us to leave you somewhere else, do you? You'll be coming back here, yes?
Oh, no, actually, I think I'm done here. I've left the shop in the care of my friends.
Oh. Okay.
That's why you got a big pack?
I don't carry much these days.
Braxton says to Lafdul, we still might come back this way at some point, or pass through.
But if I take my leave of you, it will not be here.
Very well. We've got some defenses in the ship. Is that something we need to be worried about? I would tell her not to go certain places.
But based on the information what Ockar said, she should be fine.
Yeah.
But I think she still should be limited in where she can go.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, if she goes through the main home door, so to speak, that's where one of the wards are. She goes into the library, that's where another ward is. These are like guests. They're gonna want to look around at some point.
I don't think she has any reason to go to the library.
No, we can give her we can give her and Braxon's not speaking in her language at the moment. So we can give her a tour and show her the places where she shouldn't go.
speaks common.
Defenses. Okay, all right. Well,
Oh yeah, she was speaking in common.
Okay. Well, we'll give her a tour and show her where not to go to be safe.
Would you indicate that the library is not safe?
Well, we
Yeah,
put
right.
protections there against the most, like...
Braxon would turn to her and say that they've put some traps on the ship to intercept intruders.
There might be some experiments going on in the library.
Yeah.
So I'm not allowed in the library?
Well, it's more of a case of if you go into the library, we don't know how the trap will react to you.
Can't we take her with us?
Ockar was able to gauge whether he was able to gauge your... unless you gave us a false reading, so to speak, but of your disposition. Your disposition does not match the requirements for the trap to be set off.
So she can go in.
She should be fine. Unless she was purposefully giving us the wrong alignment, which is possible with her magic. But judging by the conversations we've had, I'm pretty sure our alignment's the same. So.
She looks at the door and then looks at you and says, well, if you don't mind me going in, and I'm willing to risk it to see if it sets it off, you have some magic to help me if things go poorly?
Yes, I have some healing spells.
Yeah, they will also be conducting experiments there at some point. So,
if you wish to chaperone me in and out, I'd be fine with that, but...
Oh, yes.
There's always going to be someone.
I do enjoy a good book, and it is not the easiest thing to get here.
No, they've been quite hard to get hold of.
I've got my healing spells ready if she wants to try to go in, I guess. I'm not forbidding it. How are the other mages thinking about this? Because obviously...
Well, I guess if there's a chaperone in there.
We could just have a guard posted in there that's just reading books. A guard on the outside. I mean,
considering Solas has to go through there to get to his quarters anyway. I mean,
Leva's going through there. I mean,
Leva can get in without. I can get to her quarters without going into the library, but Solas cannot.
I was going to say to Leva, do you actually use that door?
Sometimes.
Oh, I'm just wondering if you've put a bookcase there or something. It's like no one's getting in that door.
But yeah, I mean, if you're willing to have her test it out, I mean, she's willing to risk it.
Probably.
Eva takes a better hand and says, "Let's have a look."
Boom.
What is the trigger for that one?
Set against evil to do 74 lightning damage.
All right.
Risk it for a biscuit.
Yes.
It is not triggered.
No, she's not evil at the very least.
So you open the door and she steps in, and you hear her let out a bit of an excited gasp, and as she looks around at all the books and says, "Oh, I would very much like to look at some of these."
Feel free. It looks like you can go in and out as you wish, so feel free, as long as you're on board.
Thank you. I will certainly, if I am borrowing any, will let you know beforehand and make sure that it is okay. I would not want to borrow a book that you plan to be using yourself.
Solas is very particular.
Leva will tell her that it may be that Solas will say no out of principle. We have somebody who's very protective of the books here. He may just say no out of principle, But if
What are you
if
trying to
you
say
intend
about
to
him?
return them, then yes.
Oh, I would always return it.
Braxon says, have we got any books in languages we can't read?
I
Some
bet you
Inferno,
we do. We do.
I think.
Why don't you see if she can read any of those?
Yeah, so what languages can you read?
Well, why don't you just get the books that we haven't been able to identify? Solas,
I don't know.
do you know of any books that we haven't been able to identify? I know we got rid of those other books.
There are some, but it's not really. How should I say? We can translate them with magic, so
Right.
it's not like we need to test things out.
Well, it's just if someone can read a book that we can't. Books are for learning, aren't they?
Yeah, but we should really check out the information in those books before we let outsiders read them.
Lafdul makes a mental check to himself and say, how many elven religious books would be in here?
There'd be a fair number,
Mhm.
but they'd also be
Lots.
written in Elvish.
Yeah. She's, one would assume that she's magic-y, or at least she seems that way.
Well, did you all come with Leva and Margus as they went as the two of them went into the library,
Probably,
or are
or
you
at
all
least,
talking from the other rooms?
everyone. I mean, unless someone says that they didn't want to come, I'm going to assume that everyone did. They may not
Okay.
necessarily be standing in the library, but they might be standing in that little outer area.
Oh,
Just
kind of thing. Close
Solas
enough.
is almost.
So
Solas
she
is
will
almost
hear
always in
everything
the
that they
library.
say about the elven books, etc., etc., etc.
Not necessarily the
Yeah,
elven
well-
ones, because that was Lafdul thinking to himself.
Okay.
This is kind of like a standard thing we ask Margot. I mean, should a situation come up, are you capable of going on the helm, so to speak? This is just a hypothetical. Do you have magical gifts that could power a helm? I mean, can you use magic? I'm just saying, if Braxon gets separated with you and some of the crew, Braxon can't use magic.
I
That's how
don't
we-
think you would necessarily ask in that way. She would indicate that she has some skills with healing, but that could be interpreted as either magic or just like the healing proficiency.
Lafdul, would you sort of ask Leva to ask her or something like that? Because Leva
Speaking in
would,
common.
She'd also say that she's not a helmsman.
No, I was just wondering if someone with your... I don't know. Most people can't see through illusions. That's put me on edge. You can understand why we've used such measures to safeguard us and so that we don't get into any unnecessary fights. We're not here to start a war, so to speak. The war's already happened.
Does she know that she can't operate the helm, and is not a helmsman, or has she just never tried to sit on a helm and do things?
She said she's not a helmsman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That means she's not a spellcaster.
Well, I mean, people can just say, I'm not a helmsman. Doesn't mean I can't use magic. I'm just not going to helm your ship. A reasonably intelligent person who wants to keep themselves incognito, so to speak, might play it off like that.
I don't know. Well, that's a very suspicious way you have of talking.
Yeah, I mean, this is an elf talking to a goblin. Don't you think? You think
Maybe.
I'm not going to be suspicious?
Maybe she's just a sage. Well, she's come along to help us. She's
I
here
know.
on her own. She's here on her own. We could leap on her and kill her if we wanted to do anything nasty, and we're
I
not.
know.
So I think we've proven we can all trust each other to some extent.
I don't know. So what is she afflicted with? Some kind of leprosy?
Yeah.
Now you use healing to check that. Not
she
check.
will.
It's more of a observation.
She's covered in bandages, so like that's pretty typical for leprosy. But like she's not going to remove the bandages unless you specifically ask. She's not like removing them.
Is that by choice? I say the bandages. I just word it like that. Is it by choice?
So, I mean, it's a very odd way of putting it. Like,
Yeah.
part of it is like if you see someone bandaged this way, then the assumption is leprosy. You've also heard that
Yeah,
she is
but-
afflicted with leprosy, so it's like, you know, is it
Really,
by
it
might
choice
be
you
a
have
self-
leprosy? Is probably
Yeah.
how someone is going to.
Yeah, that's
take
in a
that.
way. That's how I'm asking it. Is
You don't normally get leprosy by choice.
No, but depending on who did.
And that's essentially what she's going to respond with. It's like,
This is
The other thing
a day of uncomfortable conversations.
apparently
Well,
so.
I'm just wondering if
Also-
I can. Lafdul's basically
Lafdul-
saying I might be able to cure it. I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
Lafdul, what do you know about leprosy?
So here's the thing though.
Apparently nothing.
Here's the thing though. Leprosy, you can't. Just because you can cure it doesn't mean that you can restore the damage it's done.
You need
Right.
like regeneration.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So this is like the
Like that, and that's the main reason why people wear
Would I-
bandages is because
They
Like,
lose their
body parts and
physical
skin
capacity.
falls off.
Yes.
All right. So she's not currently afflicted. She was afflicted with.
Well, not
That's-
necessarily. She's not indicating
haven't
one way or
asked
the
her.
other. You haven't, and you
Episode.
haven't asked. But at
I
the
was
same
beating
time,
around the bush about asking because it seemed a little bit too direct, too soon.
You probably have to ask straight out if you want a straight answer.
Yeah.
I suppose what I will say
tell you
is
what.
that I have magic that can cure diseases and such. If you would want me to try,
she will politely decline your offer.
fair enough. That ends that conversation.
Okay.
Entirely suspicious person.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
A person who spends 5 minutes talking about whether or not they should cure someone, and then says, "Would you like me to cure you?"
And also asks, did you get leprosy by choice?
Yeah.
Well, she might be worshipping a god of like disease and outcasts as part of her faith. She might have to keep herself wrapped in bandages, etc., etc. I'm just trying to be clever about not asking.
Even
If she got leprosy, or is it you just actually being part of your faith?
Mate,
As in,
mate.
you
No,
have to
if,
look
if
the
you
part.
talk to, maybe a bit out of character, but if you talk to somebody who is ill like that, they much appreciate it if you just ask straight out. Don't talk about the bush like you just did. That's very uncomfortable for a person like that. Just ask straight out what you want to ask, and they will answer if they feel like it, and they will tell you off if they don't. What you did makes them feel very much more uncomfortable and awkward.
Also,
Okay.
if it is religious, that's also kind of a weird thing to ask.
Oh no, I wasn't
Yeah.
asking that though.
But if
Also, if it's a religious,
why-
you basically insulted the religion.
I'm glad it's not Braxon being criticised for being insensitive.
Here's the way of looking at this whole situation. It's like Lafdul having like a really bad disposition towards goblins. It's like
No, we couldn't guess that.
I mean, Lafdul's like show so well, she can go in the library, no harm. I don't need to use my magic. I'm gonna go look at my scroll. I'm gonna be making a scroll at some point.
Okay.
So with the like the brief tour done, which would you kind of like edge away from the fact that you have prisoners and kind of like hope that that comes up later, or
Yeah, I think we'd leave that for later. We've had blood. Let's not have yet another uncomfortable discussion today.
Just get them all out and done with.
seems
Get
reasonable.
them all. Yeah, let's do them all in one game.
You know what? Actually, I've had a change of heart. You got prisoners. You ask me a lot of personal questions. Lafdul keeps staring at me.
Lafdul keeps staring at you.
Well, no, he's glaring at my bandages, so to speak, or something like that.
Oh, you're saying that's her, right? Gotcha. Okay, sorry. I heard Lafdul saying Lafdul keeps staring at me, and I'm like, wait, what? Sorry.
Yeah,
I
You keep
missed that part.
staring at yourself?
You didn't know that Lafdul basically every 5 minutes takes out a pocket mirror and glares at himself.
I didn't know you. I didn't know you were quite that narcissistic.
All right, so you show her to the quarters that you give her. She lays down the staff that she's been carrying and her pack.
Yeah.
And
Well, what I was going to say is, have we actually left port?
no, you have not.
Right,
And that's
okay.
that's what she's about to ask is, do you have plans to leave port shortly, or are you waiting until the morrow?
I'm not sure we have anything to stay for now. I'll just have a quick meeting with the others. We had a bit of unfinished business. We'll see whether that's concluded. If that's concluded, we could get going.
That's fine. I'll wait here in my quarters.
Were the Pex and the mongrel men in the same direction?
Yes.
Right,
Okay.
Braxon wants to hook up Lafdul, and he'll grab Numerial if she's not on the helm, and go to Linnaeus.
All right. So
And
the four of
say-
you.
Yeah,
Okay.
and if anyone else wants to follow him, he's not going to stop them. And he's basically going to say, I'm not sure we're ready for dealing with those flags now. Are you okay? Are you okay with coming back to this later?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It would give us time to plan.
I mean, obviously there's a risk that if we get a one-time chance to go, we might have to leave this. But if we're not here immediately, we could sneak up on this port. If there's farming on the underside, it's possible that a ship could come in on the underside, and then a mission could be launched from there to this place.
Once we have a known exit, so to speak, we're not coming back to the sphere, very likely.
We're not coming back to the sphere, no, but we don't necessarily have to immediately leave.
No,
And
but the point is we can do it then just leave the sphere.
If we come back to visit the dragon or to look for where the humans went and it's near here, we might be going past this port. And if we're going past the port, that will be an opportune time for us to get those flags and for it to not look like our ship did it. That's my main concern, is to not have people putting a price on our ship for the theft of those flags. That's my main concern here, is not to say this should not happen or should happen. It's that you don't yet have a plan on how to do this without us getting the finger for it.
I think we should just... I mentioned to Nemeri and Linnaeus, what about just replacing the flags if we come up with replacements? I mean, they're high up on the walls. We do the fog cloud. This is not happening now. This is like later. I'm just theorizing. Yeah. We do the fog cloud as Nemeri suggested, obviously, and we just replace the flags.
How long will it take you while we're doing other things to make fake flags? What do you need?
We need the materials, so we may have to do some impromptu purchasing.
Right. So
flags, and
should we get materials here before we leave?
I can do another pass by the arena so I can get an idea of what colors, etc. I need.
You would have already noted that down. Like that would have been part of your description.
Right.
Lenelius will speak up and say, I understand this, but what if we hid someplace nearby and came back on the flitter and did that? We already would have left, and only afterwards did the banners disappear. The only reason I would want to replace them is if we were to then destroy them and make it seem like they're destroyed without knowledge that they've actually been taken.
Yes.
Yeah, that would seem like because ideally we want to recover these, obviously. And...
Well, not only do I want to recover them, but I also want them to not have these symbols that they can look up to and hate.
Yeah,
that is a valid point. And my talking about replacing them was just so that we could destroy the replacements.
Yes, that's fine. That makes sense.
But at the same time, if the big concern is to not have things point back to us, what if we left, stayed hidden nearby for until tomorrow, and came back with the flitter, took them, and returned to the ship? Your ship had already left a day earlier. It'd be less likely to be connected to you.
I don't think that's a long enough period of time. We are outsiders, and we are very obvious outsiders. We have a battle dolphin. No one's ever seen a battle dolphin before because it's a new type of ship. We stand out in everyone's mind. If anything suspicious happens here, it will be linked with our time here. So if we go off and we do something, and 2 weeks later or a week, 3 weeks later, something happens to those flags, it will be less suspicious. Now, if something happened here, if there was a rivalry between some factions and they disappeared at that time, that might be a good cover story. But the cover story of let's have it happen a day after we've left doesn't seem to be enough of a good cover story to me. Ultimately, we need to get back to the Elven Navy and to warn them about things that we know.
I agree, which is one of my concerns with coming back here. It seems that it would be likely a week or 2 weeks or maybe even more just for this little trip when we are here now.
It's a risk either way.
If we're definitely coming back by here, I could see that would make perfect sense. We could say not stop here, but at the same time, we don't know that is going to happen.
No, we don't. We don't know everything because we don't know this. We don't know this place. I'm thinking we will probably come back here, but I'm not going to lie and say that we're definitely coming back here. I think we're probably coming back here. And I think if we came back here later without being seen to come back here, if the flitter came back here, it would not be associated with the battle dolphin.
Well, you are the captain. I dislike it, but you are the captain, and I will respect your decision.
Don't forget.
Yes.
Go on.
You can.
Okay. I was going to say, don't forget, I said I would come with you.
No, I understand, and I do appreciate that. And as I said, I respect your decision. I understand your reasons. I do not have to like it, but I accept it, and I will abide by your decision.
Braxon would put his hand on his shoulder and say thank you.
Yes. This is going to sound... I don't know if this is rude, so forgive me. How good of a wizard are you?
I was moderately skilled. Most of my magic was the type to aid my sword skills.
When I say moderately good, you can't teleport from one place to another, can't you? Do you know? You obviously know of that magic, but is it something you could do if you had access to such?
I know of the magic, but no, I was not skilled enough to accomplish that. I will note that by saying that he's not skilled enough, that could have meant that he attempted to learn the spell and failed. Could mean that he's not powerful enough, or he just never made the attempt to learn the spell. So there's a couple different things out of game. What that might
I
mean.
was just wondering, because we do have the spell, and you could literally teleport back to the ship. Obviously, Leva doesn't want to do this, but that would have also been quite ideal. That way
It
we
is
don't
a
even have to
risk.
have-
I know of those who've used it, and it can be a risk. But no, I was not able to use such magic when I had my spell book.
Braxton's going to say to Braxton to sort of be hopping a bit on his feet because we can't take too long. But he'll say to
It's just a few
Lafdul,
minutes, though, really.
yeah, he'll say to Lafdul, you can make things invisible. This invisibility, is this a limited?
What are you referring to when you say I can make things invisible?
Well, you've made me invisible before. Mind you,
No, that's Leva.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So you can't do that.
I mean, eventually, when Aravan grants me such magic.
Okay. Well, let me put it this way: if somebody was invisible and was able to fly or crawl up a wall or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
would they be able to take those flags without becoming visible?
Yes, as long as you tucked it into a place where it's completely concealed.
Right.
Otherwise, there'd be a draping flag flying around.
Linnaeus, how is your recovery coming along?
I suspect I will need quite a bit of time with the healers when I get back to the Elven Imperial Navy to fully recover. I think that I'm as recovered now as I will be here.
Right. The reason I'm asking about that is because if the four of us and maybe someone else who's going to come with us were to come back and do this, it's down to what particular skills people have. I'm obviously good at fighting people.
Yeah, we basically be fighting whoever manages to get on our ship.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, how much hit points does a flit out? It's just 1 hit point, isn't it?
it has one hull point, but
So 1 ballista shot and it's out.
well, light
Any-
ballista,
any-
no. Light ballista, no. Medium or heavy, yes. Any catapult, yes. But A, they have to hit. B, if you're really close to the arena and they shoot at you, any miss means that it's going into probably crowds or damaging buildings. Maybe they don't care, maybe they do, you don't know. But that is something to consider, that they would need to consider.
Okay.
So,
Right. So if you have to go back and get some cloth to make these fake flags,
Should probably do this now.
you should probably do this now.
yeah, but if you're also worried about not having any sort of connection, you don't want to do that here.
No, but if we don't buy the cloth, we lose the option. Oh yeah. Yeah,
We'll
it might
just
be
buy
bad.
generic cloth.
In the
Whereas the
colors
ones-
of the ones that are up there.
Yeah, that is true.
Well,
That is
no.
true.
You're making it out like it's an obvious thing, because the flags would be replacements.
I'm not making it out to be an obvious thing. I'm just pointing out
And
that if you're, if you're not even willing to go away a day and have
Doesn't play it.
a ship come back with the cloaking helm on it, this is still something that people could easily put 2 and 2 together.
Okay. Does anyone on our ship have skills with dyeing things?
Buy some dyes.
Don't
I know
think
the
so.
other Cobalt port had plenty of dyes. I don't know about this place.
You have some people who have basic sewing skills for sewing up like sails and
Yes.
stuff like that, but
Yeah.
beyond that,
Because we could in theory get white cloth. Assuming they have cloth, it might all be made out of mushrooms, mushroom fibers.
a lot of it's made out of.
Wool.
I mean, it is a lot. A lot of it is made out of wool, but a lot. I mean, mushroom fibers, but a lot of it is also made out of roth wool.
Ah, Roth wool. Right. Okay. So not space sheep. So we could buy Roth wool for making uniforms with and try and make a flag out of that. But it might be a different sort of
You
texture.
need like a whole loom to make cloth. Though. It's not something you make by hand.
No, I mean you can get bolts of cloth, but the thing is, I mean,
It's not going to look the same. Not elven
Yeah.
craftsmanship.
I just from a DM point of view, I honestly don't see like if you buy all the materials here.
Yeah, let's buy material somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, if you're willing to take that risk, but you're not willing to take the other risks, I'm looking at it as I don't really see that much of a difference in terms of the risk from a DM point of view. So,
Well, the only other thing I'd say is, do you have the ability to detect whether there is any sort of magical shield that would stop a flitter from landing in the arena?
Linelius would kind of give you a look and say, "They're goblins."
It's a church.
Yes,
There's a church.
yes.
That's the arena.
It's no myth.
But they're
What's he got? A
goblins.
myth. What's he
Yes,
call it?
they're
Mithril?
goblins.
Those barriers.
He doesn't have much respect for their skills in that regard.
Yeah, neither
Now he
does
may be
Lafdul.
wrong. He may be wrong. He's certainly prejudiced in this regard.
Yeah. What do you think, Lafdul? A quick run around the town
To do.
to see if there's anything over the arena that would stop a ship from landing.
An
Can you
observation.
Can you detect any sort of magical?
If I had the spell memorized, yes. I do not currently.
Okay.
This plan has only occurred to me today, so my.
Yep. Well, then I suggest when we come back, for our plan, we need to have some cloth. We need to make flags that look similar enough, but don't need to have elven symbology on, maybe.
They're going to be burnt up anyway.
Oh, the flags that were hanging there, were they flying well? Could you see what they were? Or we must have been able to see what they were.
They
they
were hanging. They were hanging like you would see with a tapestry or something on a wall.
Right, I see.
They weren't
Yeah,
flying. They were hanging.
right. Okay. So we can get the cloth somewhere else, and we can, when we come back, I would say we want to come fairly near, but not too near, and come in with a flitter and scope out the underside, see if there's a place on the underside where the ship could stop off, and then it's come in and get out. And Linennis, if we can't get you fixed up with spells, or if you can't run around and fight.
He can fight. He can't run.
Yeah.
But he can certainly, like, if you tie a rope to him and he's getting those flags down. I mean, remember, the flitter can hover. If someone's on the helm, the flitter can hover. You don't need to land it. Unless
That's
you want
true.
the person on the helm to get off.
That's true.
But then they also need to warm it back up again.
Yeah. So we need,
And it wouldn't be invisible.
we'd need to be putting Linnaeus in a role where he's using his brain and his combat expertise.
Well, again, he can move. So, again, it depends. If your flitter's hovering and you just want to tie a rope on him to make sure that he doesn't fall all the way down to the ground below, he can either lean off the flitter or get onto the top of the arena and like get those untied and toss them onto the flitter.
If we leave it for a bit, we come back, maybe we can just snatch the flags.
Yeah, I mean, again, like if you're nowhere nearby, theoretically, like if then and you haven't been for days, it's a plausible deniability certainly.
I do think after we've been away for several days and we come back nearby, we should sneak the flitter in, so to speak, and just park it somewhere stealthy.
Yeah, and then
when we're on foot, then we can just do stuff.
Or don't forget the streets were quite crowded and there were some...
Yeah, but we can create a distraction somewhere else in the city.
The streets were quite crowded. You'd have to get up to the top of the arena. You haven't been into the arena, so you don't know how that is. If your flitter's already invisible, honestly, your best bet is to really just fly the flitter up there, grab him, and go.
Fly the flitter, lean over, grab the flags.
Finn be listening in on this?
If you wanted to come along, sure. Otherwise, no.
I might have out of curiosity.
Okay.
So I'll just interject and say, why not just have the wind bring the flags to you?
Is that something
I do not have that ability to manipulate. I could telekinetically pull them, depending on how they're attached.
Is that something you could do, Finn?
Perhaps. But I have little interest in the trappings of civilization.
True.
These flags, I know they mean something to you, but to be perfectly honest, they mean nothing to me.
I see your point. So it'd be a favour to me or to Lafdul?
To me and the elves, I guess.
Lenelius would say, the elven peoples would be quite grateful to the assistance of one so close to nature.
Then would look at Lafdul carefully and say, I thought you did know of that.
You mean like a dust devil?
Or a wind servant.
I cannot do wind serpent.
Braxon's...
Dust devil can only rip them up. If they're attached to it, then it's not going to deattach them.
Braxon's going to say to Finn, he is from your home sphere.
He is?
You're both from Grayspace.
You're both from Grayspace.
I'll consider it.
And we do know that Red Njord was aware of someone who had some sort of dodgy plans for the elves of Grayspace. There might be a threat to your sphere.
But then again, these banners have nothing to do with that.
That's true. That is completely true. That is entirely true.
It's like an archaeological find, and it's like you don't get this opportunity every day.
Lenelius was just straight up going for, hey, we're both
crab.
nature people, help a bro out kind of thing. That was totally what Lenelius was going for. But he also he wouldn't put any more pressure on you and let you make your own decision.
Yeah.
I mean, it's certainly something to think about.
Yeah. Okay.
If you've come to the conclusion that you're not going to do this now, then you'll have time, both in game and out of game, to think about how to do it. So.
Yeah, we're not going to do this now, so we can. But that's an excellent idea, Finn.
And Finn, you as a player, you're more than welcome to throw out suggestions that you think, would help them out of game, without saying that Finn is coming up with those suggestions. I'm perfectly fine with that sort of planning being a player thing, and then the characters come up with the plan. It's perfectly fine.
Okay.
All right, so Is there
suppose.
anything else that you want to do here in the port?
I think we had enough food, didn't we?
Yeah, you're going to have enough food.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, there's something Lafdul needs to do, actually. He's going to take off his armor and go out on the streets.
Okay. What is it that you need to do?
I need a new holy symbol. I just realized it's been 2 weeks.
Okay.
It's been 2 weeks, so it's probably pushing the limits of what is reasonable. Especially
I thought he was going to come out with us before to get one.
No, you and I forgot until now. So he's going without his armor because he's got better pickpocketing if I need to, and obviously heart of disguise.
Okay. Well, what are you disguising yourself as?
Oh, a goblin actually.
Okay.
No, yeah. Yeah.
Are you telling Braxon you're doing this, or are you?
No. Oh, this is Lafdul say I just need to grab some last minute supplies. I'll be back. Yeah,
Right.
Brax's probably gonna he's gonna steal the flag. Damn it, Lafdul.
Yeah.
I mean,
we
like
could-
you could assure him that you're not going to do that or something like that if you want to,
Yeah.
if you feel like that is important.
Yeah, I would say that I'm not doing the flag. I'm doing something else for other religious reasons.
Okay.
Braxon will say, if you're going to go to the area, see if you can scope out a route where we could get in and get out if we couldn't fly in. And don't be too long about it. We need to get going.
Yeah, I'll be as quick as I can.
All right. Scope out what again?
Well, he was thinking about the arena, but
I'm talking about scoping in like back alleys that go from the arena to somewhere else.
Okay. Yeah, the streets are very, very windy, so I'll leave that to you. Anyway, Lafdul, what kind of item do you want to try to pickpocket? What do you want as your holy symbol?
that's always the fun part is come out with a holy symbol object. Well, just a personal possession like a lucky charm or something.
Okay.
Nothing in particular.
You know when you leave this up to me, I get to have fun.
Thing is, I've only just remembered that I need to do this. It's the gimmicks of being a mischief maker.
Okay.
I think you should see what.
This
should
is
see
when
what chat.
where rubber ducky
I've
is your
got
holy symbol for a month.
I've got hang on, 75
You should see
plus
see what chat wants him to have. I say he should come back with a goblin codpiece.
No.
How the hell would I
Give me
grab that?
a D100.
I'm trying to remember what my bonus is for not wearing armor.
I rolled a 13. A 16. You're fine.
You still want me to roll? Oh.
Yeah, roll D100. This is for because I had made a chart before.
Ah.
Oh, of course it was. I didn't fill out the chart fully. Sorry. Roll again. I only have through 85.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've got a char, but I've not filled mine all the way out either.
All right. You got a bone die.
Ah. Well,
Yeah.
I'll add it to my other bone that I had a long time ago.
Yeah, it's not 6-sided, it's 8-sided.
Sorry, Lafdul cast Tech Magic on it the next day.
It's
never
not
know.
magical.
Oh, well, Lafdul doesn't know that.
Now, if I hadn't remembered that I had this chart that I don't think I ever used, do you want to know what I was going to have you steal?
What? No, go on, tell me.
A little goblin girl's doll.
That would be quite comical in a way.
And yet mean, too. Incredibly mean. Poor little goblin girl crying because she lost her dolly, all because of you. You
Stole
stole it.
the nasty elf.
Yeah, but
Hatred was born from that day.
would goblin girls have dolls of goblins, or would they have like evil elf dolls?
Well, no. That would be the boys that have the elf dolls, so that they can have their goblin dolls with the swords stab them.
I had a draft piece on the giants, and I had a bolt or something. I can't remember, like an arrowhead from the Red Njord.
Yeah, so you got a bone die, 8-sided.
8-sided bone die.
Yep.
Alright, and he makes his way back. He's obviously not going to keep the party busy.
Yeah, and that wouldn't have taken too long. All right, so you ready to get underway?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the portmaster walks over to confirm that you're leaving and collect your fees. That is going to be 105 gold pieces.
Where have we got to put that on the document?
And he says to you, "And for the records, where can I indicate that you're heading to?"
What was the port we came from before?
We came...
That was the Kobold port of Port Korthok.
Braxon to say we're going back to Port Korthok
Okay.
after a little bit of exploring.
What's that, 105 gold pieces?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
What about the Hobgoblin port instead?
Well,
because there was a
he
decanter there.
Just said that they're going back to putting down
It's
that you're
close
going back to
enough.
the Kobold port. All right. So with that, you untie your vessel and push off and head into the wild space of these tunnels. So once you've kind of gone away from the port in such a way that it looks like you're going towards Port Karthok, Margoth will direct you down this way. Oops, helps it.
Oh, hang on. Man, the wrong thing. So I'm seeing dice.
You're seeing dice?
Yeah, I came back to Roll20 and I saw a D100
Just
roll.
click it.
He sees
Yeah, no,
dice whenever he closes his eyes.
No. That's not what I mean. I mean, I didn't see where you told us what direction to go.
Oh, I haven't done that yet.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
All right. So that is going to be you're heading down in this general direction.
Right. So we have to head in this direction first. Oh, sorry.
Well, no, you wouldn't
didn't
head.
mean
You wouldn't head that far in that direction.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to move. I meant to point. Let's put us back there. Okay, so we'll go back the way we came a little bit, and then we'll turn the other way.
Yeah. And travel in 12-hour increments.
Hang on, I need to put the arrow on.
Well, just remember it's
that's 6.
yes, it's 3 hours for each square that you travel.
Right. Come on. It's not moving with the arrows.
Well, no, it doesn't move with the arrow. You have to move with the pointer.
Oh.
But you could just count
I
out
think
four.
I'll
You could
put it
just
back
count
on
out
there.
4 squares.
Yeah.
Hang on.
So about there.
Which shift
no.
is which?
Well, you're starting off with the first shift. Just go 2 more squares. You've gone 2 squares already.
Yeah.
Because
hang
I
on.
would be making a scroll.
So I'm struggling seeing the squares at the moment.
Give me a second. I can darken them. I mean,
So I
remember,
think
you
that-
can also use the...
I think that's a square, and I think that's a square. Is that alright going diagonally? Or is that cheating?
It depends. Let's see. Yeah, in that case, it's cheating.
Okay, I'll go back 1 square then. How's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah,
Alright.
my problem with this is that you can't get the ruler and move things at the same time.
Well,
It's nice when you got someone else doing it for you. Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you can ask someone to do that, but if you click and not that, what is it? I don't know. There is a way that you can get it to track your movement. I can't remember what it
Yeah.
is offhand, but you can always
Oh, it was
ask
like Alps
someone
or something.
else to show the arrow.
Yeah, I might do that.
Yeah, have someone show you the arrow, and then you can do it that way. All right. So
I might do
first shift is Nor, Finn, Ockar, and Solas.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to yeah.
Alt and right click. Sorry.
Well, that's for the arrow.
Oh.
But also, if you're for this, snap to the grid, for whoever is gonna, show the arrow for Braxon. All right, so you get this far out, and you change over to second shift.
I forget which shift I'm on. I'm on first shift, aren't I?
No, you're on second. I just read off first shift: Nor, Finn, Ockar, and Solas.
I
Second shift
was
is Nemariel,
clearly
Leva,
not listening.
Braxon, and Lafdul.
Sorry, I've clearly never been doing this before.
Yeah. All right, so you travel along for another shift. Lafdul, you said that you were doing something about.
Two things.
Yeah.
Yes, I've one obviously refreshing my contact tone power because I would have run out otherwise. And I'm making a skirt. I'm also using my memory read. I did a memory read first because that's easier. So no, 'cause it's a simple row.
Alright.
And I would have memorized scribe, and you have changed how you want scribe to work. You want it at 1% per level instead of a flat 25.
Yeah, I don't like it having so much of a benefit to creating a scroll.
Because the base is 80 plus 1% per level of my priest, which is 8, so that's 88. Plus another 5% from the paper, that's 93.
Let me check the time
Minus
on.
1.
I think creating a scroll is more than just 8 hours, though.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure.
Because I know my scribe spell only lasts 8 hours, and it was for the duration of making a scroll.
Well, there's more that goes into making the scroll than just actually scribing it.
Oh, it might be a few more hours for making the ink ahead of time.
Well, I think it's more than that. It's like steeping
A
it and
shift.
stuff like that. Well, I'm looking it up right now. Give me a second.
Thank you, Leva. So, and my contact and power obviously I refreshed. I don't know if Solas is on the same shift if we're all working from the same.
Solas is on first shift.
No, the contact and power if he's in the same
Oh.
cycle with all of us, so we all sync.
Yeah, we are on the same. I'm refreshing it also.
Well, you would be, wouldn't you? Because you all arrived together.
Just means I lost a second level spell. Which is arbitrarily going to be my whole person.
Alright, let's see. Where is this?
This means that Brax is in trouble. Because he doesn't have access to the contact home power spell.
No, it's just for memorization.
Yeah, but what if Braxon gets killed? Will his deity be able to take his soul? Or would he be trapped here forever?
I think it finds its way to the afterlife unless you're in the Phlogiston. I think if you die in the Phlogiston, you can't be resurrected, can you?
No, you can be resurrected. Resurrection works just fine out there.
Yeah.
1
But you
day
have
per
to be-
spell level.
It's only first level, so it's Cure Light Wounds.
Okay.
And how many? I can make up to 10 attempts of a scribing.
I mean, if you fail to scribe the scroll, it's...
Yeah, then it fails. But I mean, I've got 10 inks
Oh,
worth.
gotcha. Okay. All right. But that's only one per day. Okay.
That means I'm memorizing scribe every day.
And yeah, I would say that you would need to keep the scribe spell memorized and used each day that you're making the scroll. So Finn, you will get access to the tracking spell.
Okay.
And Lafdul, you have a scroll with Cure Light Wounds.
Hey, first level spell. Question. Does that use that quill entirely?
Yes.
Alright, so I'm actually limited to 5 spells.
Okay.
5 scrolls.
Is it a special quill?
Yeah. I didn't have enough bloodstone.
Okay.
I only bought 5.
Yeah, you have to like the quill is not like broken or used up per se, like in that it can't write anymore, but it's contaminated by the magics, and it can no longer any attempt to use it to create another spell scroll or protection scroll will automatically ruin that scroll. It can still be used to write normally. And if there's something else that, like, if you need that in a normal spell, like if you need a feather for a spell material component, that'll work just fine. But not if you need it in a potion or scrolling or something like that.
Updating my ink notes. My paper scroll. Will be cast at 8th level, yeah?
Yes. When you're higher level, you can start tweaking that to get it lower if you wanted, but...
That's fine.
Okay.
Cure Light Wounds. I will make a note that it's written by itself.
Do you remember, Lafdul, that you can write multiple castings or scribe multiple castings on the same scroll?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do into it. Well, mechanically, if it fails, I can no longer write on that scroll, but would I know that I can simply no longer write on that scroll?
Because you fill it up. And I will need to double check to see how many you can fit on the scroll itself. There's something in the DMG, but I'll have to look at that. So for now, I'll look at that after the game.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing. That shift is otherwise uneventful. Margoth will have directed you to go exactly the way that you're going. There is a small path to the south down here. But she'll indicate that you do not need to go down there. She will be directing you up this way. You can see that there is another opening down here that meets up with this one, she'll tell you. You don't need to go down there right now. That she will tell you that leads to the Giantish Kingdom.
Could she indicate what type of giants they are? Describe them?
Yeah, ugly, deformed Fomorians.
Descriptive.
Give me a moment.
Ugly and deformed giants, which many of you would probably have heard of, called Fomorians.
Cursed into basically be deformed.
Who knows?
So was that here?
Both of them lead the same way.
Oh, they both lead the same way.
Yeah.
Right. They're Fomorians, did you say?
Yep.
Would I have information about Fomorians since they are based in the Celtic?
Not really.
They evolved from the three Morians.
They're not known to be kindly creatures. We'll put it that way. That's like the best that you know, and certainly you haven't heard them described in any kind of good terms.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you can. It's back to first shift. You can move 12 hours.
Okay. Right. Anyone want to do a ruler?
Yeah, it's best if the same person is doing a ruler.
Right. Thank you. Let's go there then. Boom.
Okay. All right, so that shift is uneventful, and it shifts back to second shift.
Oh, by the way, when we're on one of the shifts, Braxon would take Morgoth up to the top ship.
Mhm.
So we might use this ship to visit a place.
The shuttle or the flitter?
The shuttle. He won't mention the flitter at this stage.
Okay. She will be impressed. Ooh, I have not seen a ship that has a part that separates. This is quite interesting. Is this common with your kind?
It's a fairly new ship, but there are other ships that do this.
That is fascinating.
The other thing people do is, yeah, cool.
No, go ahead if you want to.
The other thing people do is they have a big ship with a flat area and they park a small ship on the big ship.
Oh yes, I am aware of that. I just had never seen one that docked with another. It is quite interesting.
I'll be honest with you, the first time I saw one, I thought it was crazy and that it wouldn't work.
Oh.
It's interesting
During
how
the
things change. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Hold on.
No, it was something else I realised.
Oh, can we be talking in Goblin?
Yeah, if you wanted to start trying to learn that.
Yeah, Braxton will. When there's other people around here talking common.
Okay.
And he'll say, if you don't mind, it would help me very much.
Yeah, she's happy
And
to spend the time trying to teach you.
He'll let everyone know he's trying to learn Goblin.
Okay.
So there'd be a lot of what's that called?
It's called Goblin.
Yeah. No. He'd be pointing at things saying, "What's that called?" In
Oh,
Goblin?
gotcha. All right. Yeah.
So he's probably going to learn all the Goblin words for wood.
So,
Hammer,
well, the
nail.
thing is that when you're using the ring, it's not so much about asking them to name the things. You just have normal conversations in Goblin because while you're wearing the ring and using its power, you're fluent in it.
Of course, yeah.
It's more that as you're doing this, you're taking an extra step. Hold on a second. Sorry, I had to cough. To try and retain this knowledge, rather than the normal process of starting with the vocabulary and everything. Because you don't that doesn't actually matter to you. If you point to a door, you don't need to say what's the word for that. You know it.
So, does she read and write in Goblin? Does Braxton feel like he could write in Goblin?
Yes.
Right. Obviously, he would have to spend more to learn to write in Goblin.
Yeah, that would be separate. If you wanted to learn that, that would come after learning the language.
Yeah.
But it would be the same process.
Yeah.
So, Lafdul, you thought of something?
I forgot to cast Remove Curse. I'm casting it today on both of them.
I don't think that you. I mean, you as a player did. You as a player did. Your character didn't.
No, I think he means air quotes. Oh, I forgot to remove the curse.
No.
Yeah,
what I'm saying is that Lafdul wouldn't have forgotten that.
Oh right, yeah.
You,
the
player, forgot it. Lafdul would not have. So it was.
I'm just saying that I memorize, reserve the spells. Also.
Well, what I'm saying is that you don't need to worry about that because you would
right.
have done that. I mean, it didn't matter the day before that you forgot, so
Mm.
we can say that
I'm
it
seeing
happened.
All right,
something
that's
here.
fine.
Can
Yeah,
we see
and
that?
I'm gonna get to that in a second.
Sorry.
So as the day passes and you're traveling along this enormous corridor of stone, there is steadily a brighter light, and as you come to this opening into what is clearly a kind of a dead end cavern area, you can see that there is a dull glowing orb of light, and that is essentially it's a small fire body floating there in the center of the cavern. There's a large sea or ocean on one floor of the cavern as well.
Oh, right.
And Margoth will say that most of the other races don't spend any time too close to this because the light bothers them. It takes you guys all once you breach that opening and you get the full blast of this light, even though it's significantly dimmer than most of the fire worlds that you've encountered. Having been where you've been for so long, it's like someone just shined a bright light right in your eyes, and it's blinding. It takes you guys a little bit of time to adjust.
So basically, it takes your night vision away, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It'd be very easy to do an eclipse there, wouldn't it? Thinking for religious reasons. Not that I'm going to do anything, just theorizing.
Well, no, because this rock is still a few, at least a few 100 miles in diameter. This fire world. It's hard to say from here, but you would guess that it's probably a size C.
I'm not sure you could do an eclipse. You need another celestial body.
Right.
To line up with it.
Right. It's not small enough that you could just get a dwarven citadel to do that, unless you're really far away. But you can see that because of that, there's more normal plant growth down there.
Oh, so there's stuff growing there.
Yeah, there's stuff growing down there. It's hard to see. You're really far away, but you can just see more green down in that area than you've seen elsewhere. Not as many mushrooms and everything.
Braxon will ask Morgoth if she knows if there's Margoth, if she knows if there's any useful plants there.
It's mostly just large fibrous plants. Most of them aren't good for eating.
Right.
No trees.
No trees, no.
Oh, Finn's going to be so disappointed.
Yeah, Braxton will make a comment to Finn on the shift change, either when he's coming on or going off, depending on when we see this. What do you think? You harvesting some plants? Do you think there's anything in there that might be useful to us? Is it worth?
Well, unless I went and had a look at what's there, I wouldn't know.
Indeed.
Is there anything you might want to harvest that we might be able to get there?
Again, I don't know what's there.
It's been
you're also a day away from that, so you're looking at almost two days, a day in, day out, including collection time. So, and it would take going in there to see what would be, if there's be anything useful.
Braxton will have a quick huddle with the officers and say, we might be able to go into this place and harvest some stuff that's useful.
If we
would you have Margoth with you?
Yeah.
She would say,
I recommend against it for now, at least. There are some large creatures that tend to see unfamiliar vessels of your type as potential rivals invading their territory kind of thing.
So they might see our ship and think it's
like a dragon?
monster. Well, it looks like a giant dolphin.
Kandori whales.
Yeah, they might think it's something like that. Okay. Well, we carry on for now. We've got people to meet.
I want to do my memory before my shift is done, and there was something else I forgot what I was doing. Scroll making, yeah.
All right.
If
Well,
I do
well-
get into combat, there was a question. Obviously, I would have to, unless it's absolutely dire that I get involved, I may have to skip the combat.
Weren't you casting spells on the prisoners that they were?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
saved?
Memory read.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry.
Oh, and how are the prisoners now that they've been removed from their curses?
So a couple days have passed. Njord definitely seems that he is sleeping better. Silithia is not looking well at all.
In what way?
She's barely responsive in that, like, she hasn't been eating much. She has not been eating much. Like, the food that you leave her is been barely touched.
What type of food have we been giving her? Mixed, various foods?
Normal food that you'd give to anyone else.
Yeah, but she might not be like anyone else, which I'm realizing. I use healing proficiency to see if she's suffering from starvation.
Give me a check.
I need to bring my character frame.
I mean, you can just roll a d20.
Yeah. If. This person's exotic, or I don't like them.
Wait, I gave her that honey, didn't I? I would have done that.
Yeah,
you said you would.
but and like you left it for her, you put it in mixed it in with her food or something like that.
She may not have eaten it.
I mean, the food isn't entirely untouched, but it's mostly not eaten.
Because I cast Remove Curse on her because of the Celtic Sleep, would it have removed both curses? The hunger, because it is classed as a curse.
Yeah, it would have. But it would have been. It may have already ended. I missed noting exactly when it started. I have a general idea. So it would have been ending around there anyway.
So she's not the worst part of it. She should get better after a few days.
Yeah, and you have no idea. You are beginning to suspect that she is not human. If you weren't already. But you have no idea what's going on with her.
I will mention that to Finn, actually, at first, before mentioning it to anyone else.
Well, I think that you guys are going to have to think about that in between sessions.
Yeah.
Because it is about that time. And Margoth will be indicating that you will continue down this... Oops. Helps if I'm on the right
down here.
thing. Yep. Continuing.
It looks like we're going downhill.
No, don't read too much into this because there's gravity on all surfaces, but because of the nature of both this game and just trying to map things out, it's easier to just have everything on one surface. But theoretically, you could have, like a city could be just as likely on the wall here as the ceiling above you, as this floor, that kind of thing. But just for the ease of marking down where things are, it's just assumed that everything's on the floor.
No, that's cool. It's just right here. It looks like a cliff, and it looks like this is a steep slope.
Shouldn't really. I mean, it might be the lighting. Let me actually see.
It is the lighting, yeah. No, I see a line here.
Right. Okay. So the reason why there's a line there is because you're getting a bright light from this.
Oh, from the sun. Right. Yeah, got ya.
And that's not spreading, but I've given you dim lighting beyond that, so you can kind of see, where things are, and that's just the line crossing that.
It's just an optical illusion then.
Yeah. And in fact, like you can see, I would actually say that it's pretty hard to see beyond that, other than the fact that you can go that way. Like you can see beyond that. You can see that there's something down here in game, but you wouldn't be able to as characters.
Yeah.
You can't see beyond much beyond that line right now. All right, so we are going to wrap it up. Let's go ahead and give out some XP.
Did my memory work?
It did not.
Did my scroll making work?
Let's see. I think I might say that because of you spending time investigating Silithia and Njord, making sure that they're okay, you probably wouldn't have had enough time to work on the scroll. Not that this is going to fail, just what you'd realize that you wouldn't have enough time, and you'll have to wait until the next day. Because you do have a lot of things that you're trying to get in a day, and you need to concentrate on the scroll.
How would I just leave my markings as 9 then, still?
Yeah, you haven't attempted another one this day.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. That does mean that I need to look up XP for scroll making. Give me a second.
I think Braxon's going to have to spend extra time praying.
Yeah, you might want to do that. Lots and lots of time.
I think when he works out the other clerics are spending time to do this contact home power thing, he's going to spend extra time every time they do that with his little shrine thing.
I mean, if Patar is omnipresent everywhere, then the odds are your deity might just be accepted here.
He should be, yeah. But he doesn't know yet.
The only way to know is to pray for divine intervention.
Yeah.
Okay, that is going to be 1,500 experience points for Braxon, Finn, and Solas. 2,000 for Ockar and Leva. 2,500 for Lafdul, plus an extra 100 for your priest.
100 for my priest.
Why 2,000 for Leva and Ockar?
Role playing.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, standing up,
role-playing.
like role playing out individual things, standing up for your personal beliefs, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So, I mean, there was the lump sum. There was a lot of role playing from everyone going on, but you guys specifically standing up for your personal beliefs. Lafdul standing up for wanting to do something about those banners. That all got some extra XP.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That.
So. All right.
It is time to roll a die.
Oh.
Oh.
Leveling up there, huh?
Mm-hmm.
This mage has new spell slot level.
For which class?
Mage, isn't it?
Mage.
Okay.
5th level spells now.
So you're going to roll a d4, or you're going to take 2 hit points?
I'm going to be rolling.
Okay.
Good
Come
man.
on, one. I mean, no, I'm completely unbiased. Nice.
Good job.
Nice.
This squishily scholarly mage has really got a lot of it.
I mean, he's not
That
that
combo helps.
in that bad of shape. He's actually quite good shape. He's just weak.
All right. So, what level are you becoming?
9th.
Okay. No changes to saving throws, but I think that is going to get you a new spell level.
Level 5.
So he can teleport now, if you want.
And I think I will get proficiencies.
All right. Let's focus on the spells first. Do you have an idea of what you want?
Not yet.
Okay. Let me double check something else.
What spells would he get access to, so to speak? All the general ones or common spells, or?
Yeah, any common spell you can just automatically gain one of.
Could he get like ones that are particular to learning or something like that? More in
No.
line with the Zephyr's? No.
No. No, because that's with his priest, not his mage.
Alright. I wasn't sure because he's a scholar, so I wasn't sure if he had more tie-in with that.
Nope. And the only spells that you do gain is 1 5th level. Everything else is the same. So yeah, you will automatically get one 5th level spell, and you can choose from the Player's Handbook, Tome of Magic, or Spells of Magic for that. But not beyond that. And let's see.
I wonder if our battle mage is going to get another battle spell. Think Code of Code or something.
I mean, I need Cone of Gold for my wand.
Do you? Oh.
Oh, right. Okay.
Is that the highest level spell for that wand?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you could recharge your wand then.
Yeah, you do
used
gain
a lot.
a non-weapon proficiency. Have you been studying anything?
Paper maker, isn't he?
I was planning on learning a language, but there hasn't been that much time
Okay.
since I'm making paper.
Okay. So that will just be a held slot, since you haven't been actively trying to learn something up to that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. We'll just let me just make a note that you'll be gaining a spell, so we can just mention that at the start of the next session.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any books written in Goblin?
I don't think so. You guys can double check, but I don't think you have anything written in Goblin.
There was a log at one point Higgins had.
You would not have. I don't think that the party would have kept that. Like, Higamus might have, but he would have taken it with him.
Yeah, probably. He was an aficionado. Sorry, carry on with the leveling.
I think that's about it.
Saving throws didn't change, right?
Nope. And I'm pretty sure your Thaco doesn't either, which, I mean, you have a priest, which is better anyway.
Yeah.
Something strikes the wizard factor, don't they? Or... usually
Generally
fighter,
not. Generally not. Like, any attack spell is going to use your best Thaco, which is one of the advantages of being a fighter mage. So. Alright, so, when we come back next time, a new spell for Solas, and continuing on this journey to meet with Margoth's friends, and see what they wish for you to do for them. I want to thank you guys for playing. Thanks everyone out there for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be back next week. See you then.
Thanks for the
having
game.
us.
And thanks for all the
Thanks for the
cheers
game.
and chat.
See ya.
This is the game. Take care, everyone.